hammer.
That's where you get your parachute pants from.
Mm-hmm.
How else are you going to do your squirrel flights?
That's true. I mean, the big rivalry was the fact that he didn't get to do the ninja rap in TMNT 2.
Was he supposed to?
No.
Oh, okay.
But you know, in the back of his mind, he always wishes.
Well, he was too busy doing Addams Family, right?
He was doing an Addams Family groove. I think it was called Groove.
That's a...
Wasn't he just going by Hammer at that point?
It was called the Addams Groove, performed by the Timette, just known as Hammer.
Boom! Nailed it. I had that single.
You are fucking sick, sir.
M. Bison will be missed.
Your podcast destroyed my village. It killed my mother and father.
Well, for me, it was a Tuesday.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Are they in the proper approach pattern for today?
Negative.
Hold the weapon! Now! Charge the lightning field.
Our goal will be to not fall into these rabbit holes of fury for the way that our world is. Otherwise, we will never get through the pod.
Well, take your lead, sir.
Take my hand.
Guide me to the bed.
Welcome back to Dispatch Ajax.
Welcome back to that same old place that we laughed about. Well, I mean, we laughed
that
about.
we left about?
Laughed
Or
about.
laughed about.
We laughed
about.
Nobody who listens to it laughed about it. I think we did.
That
was strained.
well, it always is.
I don't know why you reminded me of like John Saxon from Enter the Dragon. Just seemed like his cadence.
Oh, that's odd. That's an odd... Huh.
Well, I dream of John Saxon constantly.
Well, I guess every kid's had one good scare, huh?
I don't have nightmares about Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street. I have nightmares about John Saxon from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Sheriff, there's a podcast coming to your town. It's a Devil's podcast.
Oh, if that's John Saxon, I'm dead.
It's John Pleasance and Donald Saxon.
Oh, the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern of...
It's called Saxon Jackson.
Oh, now I'm interested.
You shouldn't be.
It was going to star Carl Weathers, but he had already shaved his mustache once and wasn't willing to do it again.
Yeah. So they replaced him with Donald Pleasance.
With Donald Pleasance with a mustache, which is really bizarre.
Yeah. Sheriff, I'm black. No, I'm not from England.
As an African-American man, you see,
I can't do it, Donald Pleasance. I don't even know what this voice is. It doesn't...
His American accents are terrible, so it's really hard to wrap your head around that one.
Yeah, it's tough. You know what else is tough? The world we live in today. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about it. Turn it on its head a bit, you know? How about we do that, huh? We'll all enjoy it together.
Will we?
No, we won't.
Good.
As Skip and I have said many times before in this podcast, in the olden days, when we were young, conspiracy theories were fun.
They sure were.
Granted, they weren't about anything fun. You know, presidential assassinations, child trafficking, mind control, world domination,
alien abductions,
lizard people. These aren't fun things per se, but we took them as just dalliances, just hobbies. Fun things to talk about, discuss, to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe watch a silly documentary or read a fun book. You know,
yeah,
just enjoy.
And the most that would ever come of it was your friends thought you were kooky. And then they'd roll their eyes.
Yeah. You're kooky. But it was mostly just, you know, just having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
We're having some chuckles. Now, not so much.
No.
Now we have posters in Congress. Brain-wormed fringe cases are now the head of Health and Human Services. We have Q podcasters running the FBI.
Not like QAnon Anonymous podcasters, pro-Q podcasters.
Yes, who have been on Q podcast multiple times.
If you're talking about Kash Patel, it's like 90 times.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know what. I don't know what that is. I've never been on that. But truth doesn't matter anymore. You can just say anything.
I mean, how limp dick is the Democratic Party that they said that in his confirmation hearing and then didn't play the audio of him saying the exact opposite? Because that technically would make him guilty of perjury. And his nomination wouldn't have happened, but they just let it happen.
You know why? Because we are cooked.
Oh, yeah, we are cooked.
We are living in a fiery hell that I don't see any way out of currently. It's just to see how bad does it get.
They bake and we're cooked.
Yeah. It's a shit pie and we're all going to eat. But let's go back to a better time. Let's go back to a time when conspiracy theories still cause us a little bit of tickle. Could play those fun keys that we like to hear so elegantly.
Like Quildor on the Cosmic Key.
Oh, Gwildor, you're such a gentle lover.
I don't know why you're in this movie.
Go full Orko.
Yeah, why not Orko? What was the problem?
Why not? What's the problem here?
Is it because he's a ghost with no face?
Is it because he has a purple wizard hat?
Is it because he's a ghost face killer?
It makes as much sense as fucking Gwildor.
Why not have Billy Barty play Orko?
Here's an idea. Just excise the character altogether.
Yeah, why is he even in there?
Yeah, cut him out. Oh, did you need someone to do science? Make up a new character that isn't Gwildor or Orko.
They have other characters they could have used. That's the whole thing. They had as many characters as possible to sell many toys. So you're just going to make somebody up that nobody gives a shit about?
You want to use a little person? That's fine. Just put him out there. Give him a hat.
Give him a
Let
hat.
him do his job.
It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze problem. It's like, if you're going to go this cartoony and this dumb, but you think Bebop and Rocksteady aren't good enough, why did you make Razor and
Can you get it? Can you get it?
on. Toka and Razor?
Toga, there he did. Oh, his brain is poisoned.
I am cooked and melted at the same time.
It's all vanilla pudding in there,
It
folks.
sure is. I'm both melted and cooked because I was in the microwave.
Well, that is the secret of the ooze.
David Warner in a microwave is the secret of the ooze. He was the scientist.
Oh, man. Was David Warner, he was also in Waxwork, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Okay,
yeah.
because I was trying to think of Waxwork and Fright Night and Team NT2.
Star Trek 5, Star Trek 6,
Let's all combine.
TNG.
Well, he was a Klingon, right?
He was a Klingon in Star Trek 6. He was Chancellor Gorkon. But in Star Trek 5, he was the human ambassador to Nimbus 3. We shall never discuss Star Trek 5 again.
That's the
Shatner one.
The search for God?
Yes, the
Is
search
that
for
what they
God.
called that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
God lives, man comes. Is that what they call that one?
Well, God lives, Shat comes, so.
Oh, yeah. Just give him a Shat hat.
Which means, well, you have to go to either Vince McMahon or Sylvester Stallone's house for that.
Do they? Oh, well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Or Riverside, Iowa, where they were selling them at the gas station.
Where somebody would physically come and dump on your head, yeah.
You were there for the Shat hats, right?
I went with you.
Yeah, okay. Just make sure we're on the same page.
Took a big shat all over that place.
In case people don't know what a Shat hat was, that was a short-lived set of really cheap berets that he was selling to undercut the convention festival, where the birthplace of James T. Kirk is in Riverside, Iowa, so they have a festival every year with a parade and whatnot, but he will never attend, but he was filming some reality show at the time and then wanted to make fun of the festival, so he put out these Shat hats. Just supreme dick move.
Why would you undercut the thing where you're being celebrated? You know what I mean? It's not even logical. I mean,
you know what he is? It's a dumb asshole.
He's a dumb asshole.
All one thing, dumb asshole. It's all one word.
When I was living in Medford, Oregon, there's a parade there every year. And famously in the 70s, Leonard Nimoy was the marshal of the parade as Spock. Uniform,
Really?
Makeup, and everything.
Oh, wow.
It was the only time he had ever appeared as Spock, not in Star Trek. It's the one and only time. I have no idea why, but he did.
Huh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, there's a bunch of pictures of him, too. It's really cool.
Yeah, today we're going to try to veer away from our mental doom scrolling of the current events and talk about the ancient past.
Talk about something light, like David Icke. Oh, wait, no.
He might vaguely come up today, but you're going to have to search those particular tunnels to find him.
Did you see, and this ties in, this isn't a tangent. Did you see that that a representative in Congress has created a subcommittee now specifically to investigate investigations into conspiracy theories?
I saw that was a thing, but I haven't looked into it.
So their entire thing is that what they're looking into, very specifically, they're investigating the Warren Commission. They're investigating the investigations into Project Blue Book. They're investigating the investigations into Russiagate. That's like everything you go down the list, they have an investigation of the investigation of the thing.
I'm sure it's full of our top people.
Top men.
They're on the case. Great. I'm sure a lot's going to come of that.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be really, really good.
Just like those Epstein files.
That's one of them. That's actually one of the things they're tackling. The investigation into Epstein. Which is funny because they released the Epstein files and then nothing came out of it. And so Pam Bondi, instead of being like, well, that's all there was, went after Kash Patel on social media and was like, you need to release more of this. And it's like, you did that. This is you. You're the Attorney General. You released that.
I feel like I heard it somewhere. There were things they couldn't resist because it would be, detrimental to national security?
Oh, yeah. Even they who say they're going to tear it all down, even they're like, no, we can't release it.
It's so obvious.
It's so obvious. The Epstein report was mostly redacted.
Yeah, of course it was.
Of course it was. Yeah.
Again, it's mind-melting, brain-bending.
Mm-hmm.
You have to dance around to see what you want to see.
Exactly.
Because we are going to cover the tale of Little Baron Trump and the last president.
Oh, boy.
Indeed.
It's going to be so hard to not rant about this.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I tried to do a deep dive into this.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a while on Reddit and 4chan and TikTok to the point where I was like, I can't. There's too much. It's too far gone.
Yep.
It's too melted.
It's even worse than our Mandela effect one.
Just as a perfect example, random tweet as I'm looking, I'm also deep into X.
The Everything app.
The Everything app. It gives you syphilis, gives you gonorrhea.
I don't know what it
genital
does.
warts.
It gives you Nazis. It gives you neo-Nazis. It gives you white supremacists.
We got Nazi pussy. We got white supremacist pussy.
We got white nationalist pussy.
If you find bigger pussy, fuck it. God,
if you find bigger pussies
scene.
than Elon Musk, fuck him.
Oh, man. Doge pussy.
Technically, it's doggy.
Technically?
I'm not joking about this. Elon named it after Doge, obviously.
Yeah.
But they don't want it to seem illegitimate, so
It's
I know. That's funny. I know.
Come on.
So technically, it's called Doggy, which is even funnier.
These are our political stylings of doggy.
They have hired Snoop Dogg to code, which is really bad. It's probably not going to go well.
Have they really?
No, but that would.
That wouldn't. I mean, he was at like Trump's inauguration, whatever.
I know. So, like, would you not be surprised that would happen? That's the sad part.
No, it wouldn't. That's why I was like, oh, did that really happen?
It could. That's why it's not even funny.
You know what really happened? Alex Jones on January 20th. There's a picture of Baron Trump. He's quite tall. I think he's
7'8". It's crazy.
Yeah. He's really tall. And so he's standing over everybody and they're showing pictures before he gets into Alex Jones' Atomic Natural Health Defense Supplements in his little mini video. His tweet says, or his X post rather, fuck off, Baron Trump towers over an inauguration crowd. Ingersoll Lockwood would be so proud. So I bet thankfully a lot of people probably didn't see that post. But if you're on X, you're probably getting shoved Alex Jones posts there anyway, whether you want them or not.
But if you're on X, you probably do. So,
wow. Some of us just want the fastest Chiefs news.
Go to Blue Sky. Jesus Christ, X is.
Unfortunately, so few people are on Blue Sky. I've tried to like migrate all of my feeds over to Blue Sky, and half of them are not on there.
I think you'd be surprised as to how many were, but I understand that some of the major ones
No, I
just don't want to move
them, but
Twitter.
it's like what I'm trying to like find news. That's what I'm on X for. Oh God, X. What I'm on Twitter for. It's like they're just not there, you know? Unfortunately, I still use Twitter trying to find these things, and it's brain melting.
Yep,
but
awful.
In the way of brain melting, let's talk about Ingersoll Lockwood. Ingersoll Lockwood, born in 1841, died in 1918. He was an American lawyer, diplomat, and writer.
Are you sure that wasn't just how it defaulted in the COBOL encoding system? Was he actually born in 1891 or whatever, or is it just how it defaulted to that?
Well,
is he still receiving Social Security checks? Is what I'm asking.
Man, you are peeling off the Band-Aid with this one.
Down the road too far? Okay.
There are people who do believe, or at least propose the theory that perhaps Baron Trump is actually Ingersoll Lockwood, gone to the past to write these stories about himself and his dad to play a joke? I don't know. There are also other people who believe that Ingersoll Lockwood, God, who are these other people that they believe he might have been? Professor David Clements, because he looks a lot like Ingersoll Lockwood, and that maybe he traveled to the past to write these?
Oh, you mean like Vincent Fusco looks like JFK Jr., that kind of thing?
Yes. Yes, very similar. But imagine you don't actually have a real good picture of JFK Jr., because, you know, it's just a picture of 1900 Ingersoll Lockwood.
If you made up a name, I mean, doesn't that sound like a bad writer making up a name for like a character in like a sci-fi drama or something? Ingersoll Lockwood?
Ingersoll Lockwood.
I would call bullshit if I didn't know that was a real person.
He's a professor of metaphysics at Miskatonic University.
Both in Columbia and wherever I was living in Oregon, they always had posters up for the School of Metaphysics, and they had an address. And I'm like, well, can you go there if it's a School of Metaphysics? Or is it just an idea?
Yeah, metaphysically speaking, you can. So Ingersoll Lockwood, he was a writer, and he was these other things as well. He did write under the pseudonym sometimes for his nonfiction stuff, Erwin Longman. Now, I think is that even... Which is better?
That is such an AOL Messenger screen name.
Hi, my name's Erwin Longman. Could you give me your age, sex, location?
Longman, get the fuck out of here. I'm Johnny Big Dick. And it's funny that this guy was born in like the 19th century, considering he just sounds like a fucking 1998 AOL Messenger troll.
Yeah, well, we don't really know. In fact, if you look
Okay.
No, I'm saying, like, maybe he traveled to the future. Maybe he founded AOL. Maybe he's posting things right now. We can't possibly say.
Maybe he is AOL.
What is the world? What is fact? Nobody knows. But what we can say is that supposedly in the latter half of the 1800s, Ingersoll Lockwood trained as a lawyer, just like his father and uncles, and he was a diplomat as well. In 1862, he was appointed consul to the Kingdom of Hanover by Abraham Lincoln. At the time, he was the youngest member of the U.S. consular force and served in that post for 4 years. On return, he established legal practice in New York City.
Get a rope.
With his older brother, Henry. By the 1880s, Lockwood had established dueling careers as both a lecturer and a writer. In 1884, he married Winifred Wallace Tinker. She was an aspiring author herself. They divorced in 1892, so that didn't last long.
Also a made-up name.
Winifred Tinker. Sure.
Wait, Winifred Wallace Tinker? I mean, like, come on.
That same year that they divorced, she married Edward R. Jones with an H, Johnes.
Oh, boy.
I don't know who spells their name that way. I almost think it's a typo in Wikipedia that no one's corrected.
Who's going to check it? Yeah.
Yeah, who cares? He was also a lawyer and a litterateur by avocation. Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
So Lockwood then spent his retirement years as a recluse in Saratoga Springs, where he published his last book, a collection of poetry entitled Varying Mood, or Jetsam, Flotsam, and Lagan, in 1912. I bet that was good.
It sounds like an easy listening adult contemporary music album from the 90s.
Yanni's latest, coming in on the charts at number 3. varying mood, or jetsam, flotsam, and lagan. He died at age 77 in 1918. He had no children or surviving relatives, and he would be completely lost to the annals of time if it wasn't for 3 books he wrote. One in 1889, the other one in 1893, and the last one in 1900. These are the Baron Trump novels, The Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bulger. That was in 1889. And Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey in 1893. We will get to his other most famous book at the end of this.
The Kama Sutra.
That's right.
It's called the Bible. Maybe you've heard of it.
That's he wrote the Book of Mormon. It's a popular one.
You can't really see it, but
you can definitely feel it. So these books recount the adventures of little German boy Wilhelm Heinrich Sebastian von Trump,
Hitler,
or as he named himself, Baron Trump.
Oh.
Yeah. These were just like little adventure kids books, although they were pretty long. They're like 300 pages. But they came out not too long after Lewis Carroll's Adventures of Alice in Wonderland in 1865. Unfortunately, they were indifferently received and did not enter the canon of children's literature. As an 1891 reviewer wrote, the author labors through 300 pages of fantastic and grotesque narrative, now and then striking a spark of wit, but the sparks emit little light and no warmth, and one has to fumble for the story. They quickly were overshadowed by more compelling contemporary children's books of the time. Connecticut in King Arthur's Port, a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court.
King Arthur's Port. Yeah, all right. Okay, I know what you're saying.
What do you think they really did there?
Jack in.
Someone had to take Excalibur out and put it back in that particular stone.
A port in every storm, you know?
So, A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court and The Wizard of Oz. Those are both kind of books that came out completely overshadowed, long remembered, probably will forever be embraced, as opposed to Ingersoll Lockwood's books, which, who cares? I was reading a story written in Politico, and the author contacted, someone who focuses just on cataloging and deep knowledge about late 1800s kids books. Mm-hmm. And she was like, Ingersoll Lockwood, who? She didn't know. She had to look into it.
That's amazing.
That was great.
That's usually how cults start, though. I mean, or religions. That's exactly what happened to Joseph Smith and LRH. They were failed writers and then decided to turn it into a religion. So it's shocking that this didn't go that route.
Well, let's not go that far. Let's not count our Trump chickens before they've hatched.
Oh, no.
So this follows the tale of little Baron Trump. He's a bit of an aristocrat. He's adventurous and intelligent little fellow, precocious, curious, often arrogant. He's restless, prone to get in trouble, and is said to have a brain so big that his head has grown to twice normal size.
It's just grotesque.
Not great.
Every kid wants to relate to that.
Who wouldn't want to, right?
If suddenly become the leader. Great.
Oh, man. Sometime we'll talk about,
Hector Hammond / the leader. Yeah.
Yeah. I just saw the Captain America movie this week.
I already know what happens in it. I haven't seen it, but I know exactly what it does. And wow, was that 15 years too late?
Oh, everything's too late, too little, too
bad.
Nothing. It's one of the worst. It's so bland.
Yeah.
It's a nothing burger.
That's what I've heard.
Just read Wikipedia. Read the plot synopsis. You got it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you need to see. Not a single element.
It just sounds like they were like, oh shit, we forgot to mention all of these things, or we forgot to tie up all of these weird loose ends. Let's finally address them way too late.
Yeah. And we'll try to set up for the next thing, right? Just a little bit. Just to plant some seeds, maybe. Who cares?
But who cares?
So he goes on adventures. He often offends the natives, frequently flees from certain entanglements with the local women he gets involved with, and continuously repeats this pattern in his adventures. I'll give you a little sense of kind of what he does. He stumbles upon a mysterious manuscript from Don Fum. This is his mentor in a way. He's a forgotten philosopher of once reputed great renown, but Little Baron Trump takes Don's advice, and he finds a map containing directions to a hidden world deep in the earth, off to explore the unknown. He goes through dark forests and different pitfalls that require his cleverness and his dog's intuition to pass through. Then he gets to the portal below, where he discovers a land of giants, with everything being huge. Baron is curious about all this.
Oh,
he
I'm
meets
sure.
the giants. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. He meets the giants, who are wise and philosophical, and Baron finds their ideas fascinating and engages intellectually with them, with a poise beyond his years. Giants are impressed by his intelligence, but there is internal conflict within the giant society. Baron uses his wit to prevent an impending civil war, and as a reward he is bestowed with a magical key to unlock doors to further hidden worlds deep within. Using the key, he travels to the land of frozen thoughts. Here, everything seems frozen in time, with elements of the mind like thoughts, ideas, and concepts manifested in physical space and appear frozen and suspended in the air.
I told you he was Gwildor.
Trump is amazed by the beauty he finds, but the inhabitants are forever deadlocked in a state of indecision and overthinking. They analyze and then overanalyze every action and outcome to the point of complete paralysis. Trump, of course, comes up with a way to free them from the self-imposed standstill. They are taught the importance of action and how it must be weighed against thought. He reflects on how easy it is for someone to get trapped in their own mind as he travels further in. Next, he encounters the world of shadows and echoes. In this world, everything exists in duality, with everything there casting a shadow that has its own life and will. Now, this is a tough one for him, because some of them shadows, they be lying all the time.
Like bitches.
Shadows be like bitches.
Mm-hmm. And bitches be like shopping. I don't know.
You know what? Facts be like that. So some of those shadows, they help out travelers, but some of them are just out to make mischief and deceive. Trump uses his observational abilities to decipher which to believe, and in doing so, wins the day, all the while contemplating what makes up a person, what defines a person, their actions, their thoughts, what others see of them. After these adventures, they return to the surface and has grown as a people and pup. Baron is greeted by his family, welcoming back as he plots his next adventure. Oh, I forgot to tell you that he calls his home Castle Trump. Might you think make you think of other things.
Well, at least he didn't say Trump Tower.
He did say Trump Tower, but if you were to draw similarities between the two, Trump Tower and Castle Trump, it's about as close as you can kind of get.
That's true.
But there are other things that he does in these adventures. So one of the first places he visits and travels on adventures is the land of the toothless and nearly weightless wind eaters who inflate to beach ball size after a meal.
Toothless and it balloons up? Yeah.
They're very nice to Trump until he starts a fire. The wind eaters are intrigued by this and come close and then promptly explode after the air they have ingested expands thanks to the flames. As Captain Go-Wiz, kind of the, quote, sort of leader among them.
This is like a Legion of Superheroes character.
Chases them, Trump's dog Bulger bites one of the wind eaters until he deflates like a punctured balloon. Pair escaped eventually, leaving the briefly betrothed Princess Poofa without a mate, and Chief Zitwish and Queen Fuyu with many funerals to plan. Yeah. If you also see the garb that he wears, there's one might say a certain Oriental tinge.
What do you know? Orientalism. Wow.
Yeah, who would guess? He'll meet the manhoppers, the round bodies, the melodious sneezers.
All right.
A lot of stupid kid stuff.
Sounds like a Douglas Adams thing.
Yeah. Transparent folk, the ant people, the happy forgetters.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. So a lot of these, at least in Marvelous Adventures, are people he meets underground because he's traveled to Russia, to where he finds
good
magical portal to secrets and adventures. Yeah, you can see a bit where this is going.
Oh.
So obviously, these books were pretty much unknown until
they discovered the magic P-tape.
God, this also took me back into some of that stuff that popped up and Trump's different explanations for the P-tape and how it could or could not exist and how they've changed over the years.
Oh, yeah, that's fun stuff.
We'll call that fun. That's what we're going to call it.
Yeah.
That's right.
We could go down a rabbit hole about that, but we don't have time for that.
Yeah. So I would say this took off. People saw the different posters on Reddit and 4chan, and then TikTokers and YouTubers, different conspiracy theorists. They would then point some of the stuff out of like, oh, Baron Trump. And Trump's son's named Baron, and they discover magical stuff in Russia, and they have Castle Trump goes on all these adventures. And how can this all be so similar? You know, there's a lot of similarities. Oh, his quote mentor is named Don. You know, all of these things. And then you get further deep down where there are some people have gone on to say like, oh man, these underground journeys discover secret truths underneath the ground.
Oh no.
Maybe it's like the subterranean government bunkers and ancient lost worlds.
Oh, the dumbs,
and, yep, the dumbs, your lizard people at the center of the earth, the hollow earth stuff.
The Getty
Museum.
Yeah, the Getty Museum underground complex or whatever.
Yeah, that leads to their own,
fun stuff.
So then people started looking into some of this. I mean, you can't really look into it. You know, it's just kids' books, but you're just pulling stuff from it. But they try to connect dots. And where this takes another level of insanity, but kind of fun, in a way, is with Nikola Tesla. So after Nikola Tesla's death, the FBI ordered that Tesla's belongings and his paperwork and stuff be given to the National Defense Research Committee at MIT. And the MIT professor that was tasked with seeing if anything in there was of value and could be weaponized was one John Trump. John Trump is Donald Trump's uncle. Supposedly, John Trump says he didn't find anything of significance or that could be used. But as we all know, those of us in the conspiracy world, Tesla's always a super fun figure up until Musk named his company after it. You know what?
Well, he didn't.
He didn't.
He bought
didn't.
into
That's true.
Tesla later. Yeah.
Before he essentially stole the company out from the two people who had created the company and then sued them so that he could then be known as the founder of Tesla.
Years after the fact.
Yes, which he did and won.
Somehow.
Well, because of money and power.
Yeah, money.
Yeah, because this world isn't fair.
Money is power,
which is
so it doesn't.
How all of this stuff works out. So, if we all know, in the fun times of conspiracy, Tesla was, involved in free energy and anti-gravity and invisibility and time travel.
Whoa, and cloning magicians.
Cloning magicians all the time.
It happened.
Are you trying to tell me that you saw it happen? That I'm not supposed to tell you that it happened?
I do not know to what you're referring. But don't tell me it didn't happen.
So John Trump, he died in 1985, supposedly not before leaving Tesla's notes and other implications therein to his beloved nephew, Donald Trump. Now, around the same time period, Donald Trump went by many pseudonyms, such as John Miller and John Barron, partially in homage to his uncle. Supposedly, he also used another pseudonym, one of John Tidor.
Oh, fuck you! I knew it was going to be John Tidor. Oh, God damn
Yeah,
it.
Tidor. I don't really know.
Whatever, whichever. I knew that was going to happen. God damn it.
And again, if any of you are fun-loving, conspiracy-having people who listened to plenty of Coast to Coast back in the day, John Tidor is one of the more famous supposed time travelers. Came out around 2000, 2001. He would speak of the events he witnessed, that he was from the far future, and
but it wasn't that far in the future. It was like 2039 or some stupid
yeah, it
shit
wasn't
like that.
super far. I mean, as far as we're concerned, are we ever going to get that far into the future?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So, at least in some insane rabbit holes, then Trump used this to then go back and make certain moves to then buy just the right real estate at just the right time and utilize his power and leverage at just the right moments to become really famous and then use it just the right time to advance politically.
Then why did he go bankrupt so many times? And and why did he completely botch his 2012 presidential run where he was laughed out of the building?
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
If he had just taken that sports almanac back in time.
I found one fun thread that said because of Donald Trump's time travel, that's why we have these different Mandela effects.
Oh my God.
Because those are ripples from him going back and forth to the past. Some people even say that some of his strange physical features with his body shape or his hairline or his color of skin,
the fact that he wears a diaper,
time travel. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, maybe that's what gave him his weird mushroom-shaped penis. Maybe it's all the time travel.
The diaper president, yeah.
He or somebody went back into the late 1800s to then write books about what would be, but in a playful, only kind of alluding way. I couldn't find anybody to logically explain why that would happen.
Especially since his family's name isn't actually Trump.
Well, neither was the kid's name in the book. It was Von Trump.
But it wasn't Drumpf, which is his family name.
Well, okay. Now, see, he had to do that because a distant ancestor made this thing, I mean, he probably went back and changed it to Drumpf to make sure they would change it to Trump. This is 17-dimensional chess, my friend.
Oh, that's right.
Centuries-long time travel?
Because people know how dimensions work.
Hey, it's all in Tesla's books right there. Okay. He knows.
It's all in the user manual for a Tesla.
I was trying to research this for you guys. I was trying to get deep in there. And by the time I got to, what was this guy's name?
John Tidor.
We'll call him a conspiracy enthusiast who likes to tie different things into biblical scripture. He went by the name Ezekiel 33.
Oh, God, another AOL username.
He was tying these Trump books, these little Baron Trump books, these little fantasy kid adventures in the vein of Alice in Wonderland into biblical scripture as prophecy for the impending coming of the Antichrist and how, Trump is the savior and it's all coming together and it was all prophesied and how they use this one word in this sentence and this ties into the book of Revelations and there. It went on and
Revelation is the one thing that doesn't fit in the Bible. It was fan fiction that they put in because they thought it gave it a more exciting ending. Because you can get into Enochian stuff and the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Book of Job and all that kind of shit. And nowhere in it does the Book of Revelation fit in. And it's been pretty solidly proven by historians, both biblical and otherwise, that it was about, a very specific time during the Roman Empire. So, stop using the Book of Revelation to prophesy anything.
Skip, I don't know if you heard that the Bible is the word of God?
Though he didn't seem to write any of it.
You mean Big G or little Jesus G? Is that what you're...
Isn't Trump little G?
He's little T.
He's got some serious street cred.
And this all might be even more washed away. If it wasn't for Ingersoll Lockwood's, one of his last books he wrote, you know what? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? It was called 1900 or The Last President.
Oh, God.
Yeah, this is a satirical novel about the last president and how during the transfer of power, because of this populist winning candidate, there's a revolt and the republic collapses. You have rioters on November 3rd when they riot on 5th Avenue, which is just where Trump Tower is, and just how rioters might be angry on November 3rd when the election is.
But not January 6th.
No. And how they would be screaming, "Death to rich men."
Which that negates that right there, then. That's...
Yeah. But this leader, he appoints an advisor called Pence onto his council.
Well, unless they erect a gallows at this event, then I don't think it mirrors anything, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of all of these things where it's oh, look at all these. They can't possibly be coincidence. It's all fitting together. And how could someone possibly 150 years ago write something about Trump, and the presidency and Pence and Fifth Avenue and it's got to all mean something. It's got to all be connected.
Yeah, it's exactly what they do with Nostradamus for centuries.
Yeah. You know what? Nostradamus, I think he has much more legitimacy than these
Which is hilarious.
Barron Trump novels. It is hilarious.
Because Nostradamus is full of shit.
Yeah. A lot of this is what we call apophenia, a term coined by psychiatrist Klaus Conrad, which refers to the unmotivated seeing of connections and a feeling of abnormal meaningfulness between different things.
Oh, I thought it was a fetish for Christina Applegate. But
it is that as well.
No, that's apophilia. Sorry, my fault.
Oh, yeah. What about...
The cadet's logic is sound.
What is the woman from Iron Man? Plays Pepper Potts?
Oh, are you talking about Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah. Isn't her... no.
Her kid's name is Apple. The one
Apple.
she has with the dude from...
Coldplay, right?
Coldplay, yeah. Chris Martin.
Would that be... Or is it just Christina Applegate?
Well, so in your scenario, it's a sexual fetish for a child, or...
I don't think they're a child any longer, are they?
I'm pretty sure they're still too young for any of this conversation. Christina Applegate for a long time has been an adult.
You know, nobody had problems when the Twilight books came out and Jacob imprinted on Bella's daughter.
Yeah, why did you do that, by the way?
I'm a wolf guy. What am I going to do?
I'm one of them wolf guys, man.
Have you seen True Blood? We can't help it.
I am a wolf man.
I'm a wolf man.
Just a simple wolf man. I have needs.
I gots to bite and gots to fuck.
Which you could say the same thing about the vampires.
I don't mess with them vampires.
I don't fucks with them.
Nah, man, they'd be sparkling all over the place.
You never get that out of the carpet.
That's why you don't invite them in.
That's exactly right. You have to leave them outside so that you keep the glitter out of your clothing.
Yeah, you don't want to get a glitter bum. That's what they call that.
Mm-hmm. Like all over her chest, is that what you're saying?
That's no,
glitter bomb?
It's an anal thing. It's a vampire
you
anal
said
sex.
bum. Oh,
bum. Yeah,
okay.
not bomb.
Yeah.
No, that's
yeah. You'll be shitting that out for like a week.
It's forever, man.
That is hell.
Gets all up in them guts.
There are worse things.
So, as far as the kind of a fun conspiracy that we can at least have a little fun with, as long as these people don't take it as effing fact and run with it.
What's with these people?
What's with these mag idiots? That's kind of fun. It's kind of like when you see something on The Simpsons. It's very similar. When they wrote the book Futility about the ocean liner, the Titan, whose measurements almost directly matched up with the Titanic, and it told the same story about an unsinkable ship that sunk, that doesn't mean it was prophecy. That doesn't mean someone went back in time and wrote it.
No, it just told a tale that was really likely to happen because of corporate greed and idiocy and capitalism and yada, yada, yada. I think the biggest...
I feel the same way, Ursula.
Ursula, it's okay. Other people exist. It's okay.
We're not going to talk about Trump much longer.
No, I'm going to go run down and yell at kids walking in the park now.
You goddamn kids!
You're
blowing up!
You street urchins!
I like to think that, like, in her dog voice, she actually sounds like an Ebenezer Scrooge.
Only knows how to express herself through anger. That is sad. That's a thing. But, I mean, like, it's so very obviously out of left field. I mean, it is a weird coincidence, sure. But I mean, if you really just even do a cursory look into the family history and everything, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Exactly. I have one more addendum, a little fun one for us. I rather made up. We've been talking a lot about the X app and Tesla and Lord Musk, as we must now refer
Generalissimo
to him as.
Musk, yeah. Generalissimo Musk.
I'm going to have the cars run on time.
How has he never come up with a fragrance just called Musk?
Shit, you've spoken it into existence, I bet.
Oh, I toppled it? Oh, no. Not Topol, but Topol.
No, you toppled it. You're dancing on the roof right now.
I recited a nursery rhyme. I want to get more into toppling things, but we'll get into that later.
Just give it a topple.
Tulpud it. Yeah, there you go.
You tulpud.
Hey,
Tulpud.
I tulpud it.
Tulpa. So recently, some people got excited because it was believed by some on the intertubes that Elon Musk got his name Elon from a Wernher von Braun book that he wrote about colonizing Mars, and that the elected leader of Mars was given the honorific title of Elon.
Well, I mean, he was raised in South Africa during apartheid, and Wernher von Braun was a Nazi. So even if that isn't true, sure, whatever. Nazi begets Nazi. Who gives a shit?
It is true that Wernher von Braun did write a book called Project Mars, but that book, even though in German it came out in 48 and 52, and then there was a part of it published in 52 in English, the part where they talk about the Elon. So he wrote kind of like a technical manual, Wernher von Braun did, that's Project Mars. If we were to colonize Mars, this is kind of how we would have to do it, technical manual-wise. Of like, you know, you need this kind of stuff, and these rockets, and this area, and blah, blah, blah. But then, like, his fantastical bits about the possible future civilization that would be on this fictional Mars, that wasn't released until 2006. And the original German version was never released.
So when Elon was born, yeah. 2006.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, this was from long before. In fact, Elon Musk liked the name Elon because of its biblical links. It added that Elon Musk later said that the prescient reference to a science fiction book written by rocket scientist Wernher von Braun about colonizing Mars, that was all fake. In fact, Elon was the name of his mother's grandfather, and the name itself comes from the Hebrew origin of oak tree.
Okay. Which is about as smart as he is.
Hey, knock on wood.
Are you sure he wasn't named after the Eloy from Time Machine?
Well, he wasn't originally, but when Little Baron Trump used Tesla technology combined with Musk rockets to then break the time barrier.
Yeah, by going through the entrance into the inner Earth.
Yeah, you high-fived a lizard person as you flew through.
Still, it all comes back to Nazis. All of it.
It does all come back to Nazi.
It's powered by Vril, and
Yeah.
Madame Blavatsky was there.
Oh, Madame Blavatsky, you're everywhere, aren't you?
How did you get in here?
Future magic science.
You have to chase her off with a broom.
But then she gets on a broom and flies away.
Her name sounds like a vomit.
Like a certain type of vomit?
I think appropriately so.
So there was also some suspicion, since the book was published in 2006, that the word was an editorial flourish, since by 2006, Elon Musk was heavily involved in SpaceX. And so that maybe when the person was translating it, they kind of added that to, because the original manuscripts apparently are gone, and only in German, the only ones that are found. So there you go. There's a little thing about Elon's name, how it isn't magical prophecy.
Shocker.
Yeah, shocker. But, you know, just a little Mars-colored cherry on top of our conspiracy shit Sunday.
A lot of cherries are Mars colored.
Prove it.
I can't.
It must be true.
God is dead. Our minds are blown.
Scientists and philosophers are stumped. Yeah, so that's our little journey down what could be, still be, might be, could be, would be, should be, fun conspiracies. You know, back in a time when, oh, that's silly. It's just silly.
This is our little adventure to Cougar Town conspiracies.
Cougar Town? Is that where John lives?
Conspiracy Town.
Oh, I thought it was where in 1988, when there was a split between John Mellencamp and John Cougar.
His
There were
doppelganger.
two distinct people who then had themselves combined into John Cougar Mellencamp. But they still functioned separately. Now, the Mellencamp, he was quickly put down. They couldn't have more Mellencamps running around. But the Cougar,
The Cougar Camp.
he's a wily creature. He escaped into the night. And some say he still lives in Cougarville to this day.
You can hear his echoes, the echoes of his cries.
It sounds distinctly like rain on a scarecrow.
Like teardrops in rain.
On a scarecrow.
He did. On the scarecrow.
I think that is, that's Mandela out of existence.
Maybe.
John J. Mellencamp, previously known as John Cougar, Johnny Cougar, John Cougar Mellencamp. Wait, where's the cougar coming from?
Yeah, I know. It's out of nowhere. I know.
While John Mellencamp is known for his stage name John Cougar Mellencamp, he never went by just Cougar or Johnny Cougar after his initial career as Johnny Cougar. Well, you can't say that, AI.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. No, don't ever look at the AI summaries. They're bullshit. They don't make sense.
Did you say they're real shit?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, why not? Why not?
It's real shit.
It's real shit.
Changed his name for marketing reasons.
No shit.
Yeah, surprise. Well, all right. Anyway.
I put a cougar on that one.
Skip, what do you think about this whole little Baron Trump, last president, the Elon of Mars? What say you?
I'd say finally the country's going in the right direction.
Somebody and something we can all get behind.
Mm-hmm. John Cougar Mellencamp.
Vive le Cougar!
Vive le Cougar. Generalissimo Cougar.
Probably more of a Colonel Cougar. I think that comes off the tongue right.
I just imagine Diane Lane in a military uniform.
Ooh.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. I could literally fuck with that.
Yeah, that ain't bad. So we're gonna move away from all this. We're trying to keep it short and sweet. So please make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you have paid your taps. Make sure you've cleaned up after yourselves to some sort of reasonable degree. Make sure you're ready to get the fuck out of here because we're done with it and we don't want to go down too many more rabbit holes. So don't forget to support your local comic shops and retailers. And from Dispatch Ajax, we would like to say Godspeed, fair wizard.
Please, go away.